Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at the Lowe's in North McKinney, Texas. As always, please press the thumbs up or like button for this video, as well as give me a follow on Instagram at GrowFold. That is the fastest and most direct way to get in touch with me. And for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome, my name is Richie and I do daily 1-hour plant shopping videos. Today is another exciting episode where I take you alongside with me to go shopping for some budget-friendly, cost-effective houseplants. I'm hopefully going to feature a lot of these outdoor garden plants by Proven Winner Plants, as well as Costa Farms plants, Live Trends Design plants, and urban jungle plants. So I am just really excited to be able to take you alongside with me today. It is a late afternoon. I just recently got off of a 10-hour shift at work, and so I needed a little bit of plant shopping time. I wanted to make sure that I took you alongside with me. That way we can look at some beautiful foliage. You can see that it is late afternoon. It's been a little bit hot out in North Dallas, although I would say the summer hasn't been nearly as hot as it has been last year. But you can see that a lot of my plant shopping videos are really mostly featuring a lot of Lowe's locations because, like I've said in so many of my videos, Lowe's tends to have a lot of indoor tropical plants on a consistent basis. But today I will start off my shopping in the outdoor garden section because just as much as I love indoor tropical plants, I also like the garden, the outdoor garden section. So for those that actually grow herbs and vegetables, most of your vegetables and herbs that have been growing this season should be reaching maturity, but that doesn't mean you can't pick up some of these outdoor garden plants like vegetables and herbs. So you'll see that we are about to walk into the garden center of this particular Lowe's location. I will say that during the summertime, you may not always have as consistent restocks, but the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is where I am based, that has been able to get some consistency in plant restock, specifically the indoor tropical plants. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the plants they have over here. Feel free to leave in the comments section what plants you are growing in your garden section. And for those that have tuned into all of my videos that I've been uploading, thank you so much for being patient with me. I know that I've had to upload some compilations and marathons, but hopefully this week I have about 3 videos already filmed. It's just a matter of getting them edited and getting them scheduled to do a live premiere with a live chat. So the plant that I'm picking up right now is a lantana. Love lantana. So here's the thing about lantanas. You can grow them as a perennial depending on your grow zone. Mine is grow zone 8B. I actually grew some lantanas in my backyard because I needed something to choke out the weeds that would grow, and lantanas are a great performer when it comes to hot and very intense sun. They actually prefer that and they do very well. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just walk around here and show you some of the outdoor tropical landscaping plants. These are plants that can either go into full sun, and this one right here is by Nature's Way for $22.98. I featured this in a previous video, but this is a proven winner's Chinese finger flower. I think that that's what it's called. I can't really say the scientific Latin name. This is for $29.98. This is the variegated form, and I've actually had this beautiful variegated shrub outside in my outdoor front patio landscape, but the sun was super intense. You know, my house actually faces the south, so we get intense south facing sun, and so this one didn't do very well, but I've been looking at potentially buying this as a specimen to turn into a bonsai. I love growing bonsai as well. That is the art of growing a plant into a miniature tree in a shallow container. Shout out to the Bonsai Supply. They sent me a affiliate package where they are going to have me feature a lot of their products aside from the Bonsai Supply soil. I do love that soil. It is a fast draining soil. You can actually buy it on Amazon. I've been buying the Bonsai Supply soil for several years because that is something that I like to do as well. So that is another plant interest of mine. I'm curious to see if any of the plant foldies have delved into bonsai, because that is an amazing art. It is more stylized, and you can see right here, here's another proven winner plant, $29.98. These are the Rose of Sharon's, and Rose of Sharon is another perennial plant. It has blooms like hibiscus, and you can see that I'm looking at some of them to turn into bonsai. Like this one right here would be a great bonsai specimen. You can see that the nibari, or what you call the root flare, is already exposed and ready to go. You would just have to heavily chop this one back down in order for it to really get compact growth. You know, $29.98 is not a bad price at all, and I am wanting to do a video where I take a nursery stock plant and turn it into a bonsai. Please leave in the comment section, plant foldies, if that is something you'd be interested in. And so I am going to go ahead and continue to just feature some more of these outdoor plants. These are some oleander, and you already know with oleander, they are highly toxic to pets as well as children and just humans. So please make sure that if you get the sap to, if you cut a piece of it and sap comes out, it is highly toxic and highly poisonous as well. So we're going to keep walking around here and seeing what other plants we have available. Foldies, here we have some Acer palmatum, or Japanese maples, one of my favorite trees, and I actually collect different cultivars of Japanese maples, hoping to actually make more videos of that as well. But as you can see right here, it is a late afternoon, somewhat cloudy day, which is actually good because then it's not as hot as I go out and film in plant foldies. Sometimes whenever I am going out big box store plant shopping, especially if I am filming in the late afternoon, the sun has just been super hot. I'm sitting there just sweating myself away, but I do it for the plant foldies because I know you guys are engaged and are tuned into my plant shopping videos, and I cannot thank you guys enough for just being patient with me as I create new content, and for also just tuning in and hanging out with me. I know that I talk a lot on my plant shopping videos, but I just get really excited to talk to y'all directly about my commentary about these plants. So again, shout out to all the plant foldies that on a daily basis will watch these big box store plant shopping videos. You'll see right here, I'm spinning around and I'm showing you these large plumerias. Let's take a look at the price right here. That is not a bad price at all for a plumeria, and I recently acquired a few plumeria, and I was able to take cuttings that my friend from Florida sent to me via mail, and I was able to propagate them. I was thinking of my 90-year-old grandmother, my Lola Belen. Lola means grandmother in Tagalog, which is the national language of the Philippines, and that is just something that really brings so much joy to my heart whenever I think about some of the techniques that my grandmother taught me in terms of growing plants. She grows plumerias, and she taught me how to propagate plumerias. Now we're going to walk over here, plant foldies, and look at these beautiful variegated Bougainvillea. This is something that I'm also looking to make into a bonsai. This is a Bougainvillea raspberry ice. It is such a beautiful plant, and I just really wish that Bougainvillea can grow in a landscape in my grow zone. But unfortunately, since we get really cold winters to where we either get ice or snow, that plant will not survive a cold winter, and it is not a perennial plant, unfortunately. I get a little bit jealous because whenever I look at some of these beautiful walls of Bougainvillea, specifically on the west coast, I remember going to Carmel by the Sea, California, and they just had beautiful homes just covered with Bougainvillea. Over here is another crown of thorns, $56.98. What a beautiful succulent plant. And so we're just going to walk around here and look at the different varieties of succulents that they have available. Now, whenever you are at Lowe's, Oasis Plants is what actually sources out these succulents. You can see that this one is a cold tolerant plant. This is a torch cactus, and I actually have one cactus, a prickly pear, that is growing on the side of my house, and it started off with one lobe that we just put in the ground, and now it has grown so big in the last year and a half. So really love that certain cactus are cold tolerant and you can put them in your landscape. So if you're a succulent or cactus lover, Oasis Plants by Lowe's is another place that you can just acquire budget-friendly plants. You can see this one is the felt plant fangs. I love this. This is actually a calanchoe, and this is one succulent I would add to my plant collection. So an update on my two succulents. Unfortunately, one isn't doing as well. I just feel like either it got some water on the base of it, and to where the areas, or at least the foliage, started to just rot. So I just haven't figured out quite yet how to grow succulents. Now, this is an interesting plant. This is known as a shrimp plant, and you can see that the blooms look kind of like the shape of shrimps, and I think this is such a pretty plant. Now, as far as this plant and the plant care, I'm not 100% sure with that. So for those that actually grow the shrimp plant foldies, leave in the comment section below what your plant care tips are. I would really love to know and learn. And, as far as the plant foldy community, as I do more big box or plant shopping videos, or even throughout this video, feel free to chime in the comments section. I would love to know your insights, your commentary, your thoughts on plants. Share your plant wins and successes, because I read every single plant comment that we have in the comment section. And for those that actually take the second or minute to comment in my videos, I appreciate that as well. Now, take a look at this. Golden Pothos and Neon Queen Pothos. So these are for $19.98, and I am so excited to see that this Lowe's location also has hanging baskets of Neon Queen Pothos for only $19.98. I'm super tempted to possibly today buy a Neon Queen Pothos, because look at this. Look at how full. Look at how it's got such beautiful neon yellowish green variegation, and it's a pothos plant. And when you think about a beginner-friendly house plant, pothos plants are one of the easiest plants to take care of in an indoor space. However, what I've been doing with a lot of my pothos plants, the ones that have just been growing inside, and the ones that have actually had a little bit of a struggle, is I have been just taking them outside, hanging them in my my pergola that I have in my back patio, and they are recovering. They are actually growing a lot faster, and that can be said about any house plant that you have. I've been really a big advocate about encouraging people that have indoor tropical plants that are either struggling, or if you want to put more growth on them through the growing season, especially in the spring and summer, that extra heat and that humidity, at least in North Dallas, really helps push out more growth for the plants. So that's just a tip of mine, and that's what I've been doing with a lot of my pothos plants. I have about 3 Manjula pothos hanging baskets growing, and what I want to do is let all of those put on so much growth to where I can take cuttings and propagate them and possibly sell them to the plant folding community. We'll see. That's something that I've wanted to venture into. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, I'm going to go ahead and pick up some of these Costa Farms hanging baskets. Now these in the 6-inch planters are going to be for $16.98. The 8-inch planters hanging baskets are going to be $20.98. So we're going to take a look at it. It looks like they've got a surplus of hanging baskets. So what Lowe's will do is actually feature some of these outdoors, which actually these plants are going to probably thrive a little bit more so because it's in the outdoor garden section. It doesn't get full sun. It does have protection from the sun, but it does absorb that humidity, and it receives a lot more light. So yeah, I'll be curious to see if these plants will push out more growth. Marble Queen Pothos for $16.98. And this is another plant that I was tempted to buy, but for sure I'm not going to buy a Marble Queen Pothos today. I'm still debating on whether I should buy a Neon Queen Pothos. Needless to say, Pothos plants hold a special place in my heart because this was actually one of the plants that I would say I've been able to get my successful propagations when I first really got into house plants. I just remember propagating so many pothos plants, and to the point where it just ended up taking over my home. I don't know if you are that type of person that once you start propagating plants, you can't stop propagating plants. Some people will say that propagating plants unnecessarily actually causes more plant burnout, because then you have all of these plants that you've acquired through plant propagation. I would say at this point, if you are going to propagate plants, have an intention to either make them plant propagations to put back into the mother plant to make it even more full, either with the intention of maybe selling them, or better yet, bringing joy to somebody else by just sharing the love and giving these plants for free. Over here, we've got a Hoya Curtia, however you say it, $16.98. And look at that beautiful metallic speckling on this particular Hoya. This one is also endemic and native to the Philippines, which makes it exciting. I didn't even realize the amount of Hoyas that are sourced from the Philippines. And, you know, that's another thing that I have been learning in terms of just whenever I go big box or plant shopping, where these plants originally come from. So for the plant foldies that continue to just watch my videos, feel free to let me know where some of these plants are sourced out, where they're originally from. Like I said, again, the community is so much fun because you guys really either check in on each other, check in on me, and are just genuinely interested in knowing how the community is doing just outside of plants. And I highly encourage that. Like I said, again, this is a safe space where we can just look at foliage, look at plants, listen to me ramble on for an hour. And yes, I am owning it. I am owning the fact that I do love to talk. I can be repetitive, but like I said again, I am trying to be my most authentic self, and I do encourage others to do the same. You know, sometimes content on YouTube, content on social media may not always be someone's cup of tea, and that's okay. Not everybody is always going to jive with your vibe, but I always say, let's make sure at the end of the day that it's only good vibes only. You don't necessarily have to engage in my videos, but at the same time, I always say, please do so if you're not into this content, to just either not necessarily engage or just show a little bit of grace and kindness. So let's go ahead and as I walk around, just show you some more of these plants. Like this is another Hoya Bertonier, I think that's how you pronounce it, $16.98. And this one, when it is sun stressed, or when this plant gets a little bit of more light than it necessarily needs, the borders of the leaves get this deep reddish maroonish tone, which is very interesting when it comes to Hoya. So this one right here is a Polynesian ivy, $16.98. This is what I call a plant that I have been window plant shopping for more than a year, because I would love to add this plant, but for some reason I never end up getting the urge to just buy it. I always love to admire it, but not necessarily spend the money for it, and that's okay. I always feel like, you know, with Costa Farms, they are very consistent in being able to get those plants. So at the end of the day, I feel like I can just go to a big box store and admire it. But you can see this particular outdoor section, even with the indoor tropical plants outside, it makes for a good display. Now this Neon Queen Pothos for $19.98 is calling my name. It is really tempting me to purchase this plant. So, you know, feel free to watch till the very end on whether I buy this Neon Pothos plant. Let me know in the comment section if I should buy it with a timestamp, because look at it. Whenever I'm selecting a hanging basket plant, number one, I look at the plant price. This is the price is right. It is budget friendly for the amount of plant I'm getting. And then number two, I look at how full the plant is at the top. And then number three, I also look at whether it is trailing or not for a hanging basket. And this one really fits the bill. So I don't know, plant foldies, should I spend that $19.98 to buy this Neon Pothos plant, or Neon Queen Pothos plant? Feel free to leave in the comment section below, because I feel like this is a really good specimen. Now, whether I necessarily need this plant today is another question, so we'll leave it to you, but I'm gonna go ahead and just continue to explore this outdoor section and show you some more outdoor plants. Aside from looking at all of these beautiful plants, I do want to recommend Miracle-Gro All-Purpose Plant Fertilizer. It is a consistent fertilizer for my plants, whether it is in my indoor tropical plant collection or my outdoor plants. So definitely check that out. That's only for $15.98. And take a look at these beautiful, colorful coleus plants that can be adapted as an indoor house plant. I love coleus plants. I love the foliage. I love the fact that the foliage is velvety and you can bring them indoors and grow them as a house plant. So it's a little bit of a unique selection. I would say they're super overlooked and underrated. A lot of the plants I'm actually interested in kind of fit that bill, where not a lot of people are running to buy the plants. So like I said again, I feel like with my social media platform, I want to utilize it to create my own trends, march to the own beat of my drums. I don't know if you plant foldies also follow or get my drift, but Aglaonemas, coleus plants, let's do it, let's grow it, and let's also patronize and use these beautiful and easy plant fertilizers like this Osmocote. I even like that the packaging is very inviting. I love the pink packaging it has. Pink is one of my favorite colors. And then we also need to feature this Miracle-Gro garden feeder. I'm going to buy this so I can actually fertilize a lot of my outdoor plants, or a lot of my plants that are growing outdoors, specifically my Aglaonema from overseas. Who knows, one day I might just decide to actually film a plant tour of my outdoor patio space. And in this Espoma, this organic line of fertilizer, I see a lot of content creators really featuring that. I haven't necessarily used a lot of their products. I have in the past, and I would say it is definitely a great one if you're especially looking at organic, organic selections. And then over here, you can see Super Thrive. This is one of my favorite plant products to use. Highly recommend Super Thrive. It is a B vitamin complex fertilizer for $15.98. It definitely helps rejuvenate any stressed plants. And as I round up the outdoor section, we are about to walk into the indoor tropical plants. So let's take a look at that and just kind of pan around here and see what we have. And it looks like somebody may have changed their mind, because this is a shopping cart of plants. What a good selection though. So we've got 2 hanging baskets of Philodendron hederaceum for $20.98. And we have some sun-stressed coleus plants. Look at that neon coloration, $8.98. And it looks like this one is actually on clearance. This would have been $4. I regret not buying this plant. Same thing with this one right here. This one is 50% off. So that is another Lowe's deal. And this one, you can tell this particular coleus plant has received a little bit too much light, but needless to say, it's still a beautiful plant. And then you can see that there is a white bird of paradise. And with this particular Lowe's location, I will say that the merchandising is really good, and they also get a surplus of plants. You can see that this is the first Hydra helix, or the correct way to say it is Hedera helix, or English ivy, $20.98. Plant foldies. Would you buy that English ivy? I wouldn't. And the only reason why is you already know it is spider mite prone. And then over here, we've got a Syngonium hanging basket for $16.98. This one is a Syngonium white butterfly by Costa Farms. And Syngoniums are plants that are very fast growers. They're very easy to propagate. I wouldn't necessarily say they're a beginner plant, because you have to stay on top of the watering. This one is a urban jungle Aglaonema. What a beautiful Aglaonema, and you guessed it, this is an Aglaonema Silver Bay and plant foldies. I will just be really blunt. If you don't have an Aglaonema Silver Bay, can we go to a big box store, a local nursery like Peta's Planters in Dallas, Texas, for instance, and buy an Aglaonema Silver Bay? They are cost effective, easy to care for plants, budget friendly plants, beginner house plants. I need you to buy an Aglaonema Silver Bay. Beautiful plant that can get very large. It is low light tolerant, drought tolerant. I can go on and on about how beautiful and easy that plant is. So let's go ahead and buy it. This one is another urban jungle plant. This is a Ficus elastica ruby. I would say grow this outdoors, grow it out in full sun, and you will get a full-blown tree within a year. Now, you can see that this particular Lowe's location has a little bit of a surplus of plants. You'll see that Costa Farms has released variegated plants out in the market, and this one is a Monstera Thai constellation for $20.98. So it's a little bit more pricey than the regular Costa Farms trending tropical plants. You can see how beautiful this new leaf has unfurled. And so let's continue to pick up some of the plants on this surplus or overflow of plants by Costa Farms, Urban Jungle Plants, and Live Trends Design. This is a $15.98 plant. This is my daily reminder that you need to buy. Yes, you already guessed it. You already know. in Aglaonema red Siam. If you don't have an Aglaonema red Siam, please buy one. This is another plant that I love. This is the official mascot of the Grow Folds Big Box or Plant Shopping YouTube channel. Look at this one right here. It's got several little babies that are popping out, and Costa Farms has a crop of Aglaonema red Siam. The care tips for an Aglaonema, again, let me repeat. Water when the soil is completely dry. It is low light tolerant, but I would prefer that you grow it in a bright indirect light area, preferably maybe next to an east facing window where it gets that bright morning light and protection from the afternoon hot sun. This is another plant that the more light you give it, you can potentially impact the coloration of Aglaonema. This one, in terms of plant propagation, you can actually see that this one has several little baby pups. You can propagate through plant separation. Aglaonema prefer to be more on the drier side. Also, I wouldn't necessarily recommend getting the foliage wet unless you know that that foliage will dry quickly, because what I've discovered and learned about Aglaonema is, especially with the colorful varieties, they're a little bit more susceptible to rot and mold if water stays on top of them. In many ways, Aglaonema kind of perform like succulents almost, where they prefer to be in a drier environment. Same thing with a Monstera Thai constellation, in a sense that if you overwater it, it is really more susceptible to root rot. Now over here, we've got a Ficus elastica burgundy. I love the dark foliage. This one is an urban jungle plant for $14.98 in a terracotta planter. And you know, some people will ask me why I feature so many Lowe's locations, and you can see right here, there's no question that Lowe's has so many consistent and beautiful plant restocks. You can go to Lowe's locations, at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I can't speak for the rest of the United States, but even in the dead of winter, they still have so many plants to pick from, and that is the reason why I love going big box or plant shopping at Lowe's. One way to save money on Lowe's, and I am a testament of that, is to download the Lowe's app. Big box stores typically have a loyalty program, or Lowe's My Rewards app. So you actually garner points. Sometimes you'll get digital coupons. Sometimes you will see special deals where you can only get it through an app. So if you are somebody that frequents Lowe's, go ahead and download the My Lowe's Rewards app for your phone, and trust and believe you will actually garner points and save money. I remember getting like a $5 to $10 digital coupon because I am a frequent shopper at Lowe's. So in terms of saving money at big box stores, that's one tip I would recommend. And then I would also recommend just looking at the clearance section of the plants. You know, as I pick up these beautiful plants, these are definitely healthy plants that they just recently restocked, but sometimes you will land a deal and get a beautiful plant for 50% off in the clearance section of Lowe's, and it's not necessarily a plant that has really reduced in its health. Sometimes they just get so many plants that, based on you know, what I've heard from other employees that work at you know, many different types of Lowe's, not even this specific Lowe's, but sometimes they will mark down the prices because they've got a surplus of plants. So for me, sometimes I get lucky because you already know I do my very best plant foldies to travel all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area and film plants. So sometimes I will luck out and find some beautiful plants on clearance that are not necessarily suffering in health. You can see plant foldies. This is an example of a beautiful Lowe's location that is super full, super packed, but super organized. I love the plant merchandising. It really does tempt me to fill my basket up with many plants. I don't know about you, but have you ever gone with the intention of like maybe plant shopping for like one plant or two, but then you end up buying like several plants that you may not necessarily have planned for, just because of the merchandising or maybe the plant pricing, or maybe you ran into a sale? Leave that in the comments section below, plant foldies, because like I said again, I love hearing from y'all. So just leave that in the comments section. And I'm just going to continue to just walk around and feature a lot of these Costa Farms plants. A couple of updates I did want to let the plant foldies know. So it is confirmed that I will definitely be going to Plantcon 2025 in New York City. It has been more than 2 decades, I believe, maybe a decade and a half since I've been to New York City. I remember going to college on a college trip there with the art class that I was part of. When I was actually in college, we took a trip to New York City, but super excited to be going to Plantcon 2025 in New York City. I recently bought my plane tickets to fly into New York City last night, of all places, of all times. And so I am slightly broke, but I was hearing that several plant foldies were going to make the trip up there. So I would love to meet the East Coast plant foldies. So if you are planning on going to Plantcon, please send me a direct message on Instagram. If you have Instagram, I would definitely love to meet you. I will only be able to attend the Saturday Plantcon. I will be there all day, and you'll be able to recognize me even if I don't. If you haven't seen my face just yet, you already know I do faceless YouTube, and to answer anybody's questions on the reason why I do faceless YouTube. A lot of reasons. One, I want to kind of separate my personal life from social media. I feel like sometimes people center themselves around social media when really people have a life outside of work. And then number two, I just feel like there is an allure of having a faceless YouTube. Now, does that make it more successful? I would not necessarily say that. They say that whenever there is a person, a face that you can actually feature on social media, more people are inclined to follow it. But I am more comfortable being faceless on YouTube for now. You never know, I may end up doing a face reveal soon. But for the plant foldies that have not met me in person or have seen my face, just know that I will be wearing a grow folds shirt while I'm at New York Plantcon. And the reason why I really want to go to New York City Plantcon, I kind of weighed the options because it would be quite an expensive trip. You think about the plane ticket alone, it was close to like $500 for me to fly out. And then you also think that I like to buy early access tickets to beat the crowds. That way I'm able to make a beautiful Plantcon video to feature New York City. What made it worthwhile is I heard that Kunzo, a legendary plant person, is going to be at Plantcon 2025 in New York City. So I am specifically going there because I really want to meet Kunzo. If you follow his Instagram, he has some amazing plants, and that's the reason why I'm going to be fanboying once I meet Kunzo. And what's exciting is Janae Simone and Steven of I Live Plants will also be going to New York City. So Cultivation Corner, all of the members of Cultivation Corner will be there. We do apologize for the delay of season 3. Our schedules have just not aligned, and we don't really want to rush and put together something that may not be the best quality for a plant podcast. So for those that are eagerly waiting season 3 for Cultivation Corner, definitely binge watch season 1 and 2. And if you haven't even seen the plant podcast I'm part of, search YouTube Cultivation Corner Plant Podcast. Please subscribe. Please check it out. We talk all things planty. We talk about many different types of plant subjects. So we would love for you to become a cultivator. That's what we call our viewers and subscribers. So Anyways, some updates. I know that I've talked through some of these beautiful plants, but you'll see that this Lowe's location is super full. A lot of the Costa Farms exotic angel plants are either $5.98 or $8.98. Like, look at this beautiful Syngonium right here, Pink Illusion. $8.98. With Syngoniums, I don't necessarily think that they're low light tolerant. I really do think that they need more bright indirect light. They definitely do not like to stay dry for too long. Otherwise, they get leggy. They start to scream and want to go to plant heaven. So be mindful about Syngoniums. Syngoniums also, their natural growth pattern is to want to climb up some type of pole or moss pole. And as they continue to climb up a pole, their leaves start to mature and change shape. They get a little bit more lobes, like trilobes, and even more than that. So just know that Syngoniums are not as easy as people put out. $35.98. This one is a beautiful white bird of paradise, and I am currently growing my white bird of paradise that I bought that I thought was a sport variegated one. Unfortunately, it ended up being all green in full sun outdoors. But let's go ahead and just walk around and keep looking at these beautiful plants that they have this Lowe's location. One plant purchase I regret is not buying this beautiful Dieffenbachia crocodile when it was on sale. It was on sale, my Lowe's deals, for only $14.98. Now it's $22.98. But the reason why I regret buying it is a beautiful plant. Doesn't it remind you of an Aglaonema? Even the stem color of the white stems kind of reminds you of an Aglaonema. The only reason why I hesitated from buying the Dieffenbachia in general is that plant is needing more bright light and more consistent watering. But since I'm pretty much growing all my plants outdoors in a shaded patio, it would have been easy to at least grow it. But when you think about taking all of your plants that are growing outdoors and how you have more space, you also have to plan for overwinterizing them. So I am a little bit concerned that I've gone overboard with the plants because I need to make sure that I have space to take them indoors. Croton Mame, $19.98. Like, I should buy this plant, right? Plant foldies, let me know in the comment section if I should buy this plant. It is screaming my name as well, but I have resisted. You already know, plant foldies, that I do have a plant addiction. Well, not really a plant addiction. I have an Aglaonema addiction. Like, I have to buy every single Aglaonema, and it's one of those things where I think the way to not have the temptation of buying plants is to simply not look at them. But it's kind of like a catch-22 where if I don't look at plants, then that means I would stop making videos on YouTube. And I'm not sure, plant foldies, if you necessarily want me to quit YouTube and stop making content. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section if I should do that. I feel like that would be a cure to plant addiction, but I don't think that that is the best way to go about it. You know, I feel like with any type of addiction, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here for those that don't like me being chatty, and you guys have been kind of explicit in being very direct with me in the comment section and even in my direct messages. You can always press the mute button and just look at the plants. I'm not going to be offended at all, but just know that I do like to delve into subjects that kind of revolve around wellness, whether it's physical wellness or mental health wellness. So let's just talk about how addictions, right? If you know and recognize that you have an addiction, that is step one. Step two, especially when you're dealing with a plant addiction, is what is it that you are not satisfied? So ask yourself, is it because you feel like you don't have enough plants? And once you start to recognize that, you can kind of wean away from just a plant addiction by finding ways to either avoid buying plants or avoid feeling like you're not satisfied with your plant collection. And to me, the more I look at some of the growth of my new Aglaonemas that I've acquired, the more I go back to the basics of just looking at my Aglaonema silver base, some of the more common and easy care ones. It just makes me realize that I don't necessarily have to buy every single new hybrid. It's just my obsession of feeling like I have to acquire all of these different plants. I feel like, you know, addictions in general are either coping mechanisms for something even deeper. But for me, when it comes to a plant addiction, I think it's feeling like I'm missing out when I don't acquire a specific Aglaonema or plant. So plant foldies, I want to open that discussion as you walk around with me and go big box store plant shopping. Let me know what your insights are. Let me know if you also are going through plant addiction. That's the subject I wanted to kind of put out there in conjunction with just looking at these gorgeous plants. You already know plant foldies that the way I present my content is a little bit different these days. I want to kind of, I would say, utilize it to talk about certain things like mental health, wellness, to spread positivity, to remind people that at the end of the day, kindness is everything, for instance. So let's make sure that we're being kind. If we realize that we are doing actions that might be harmful to somebody else, let's kind of slow down and think about our actions. There have been things where I recently have been a little bit critical of certain people in my life, and then I have to realize that sometimes having more grace or giving more grace is what we need to do. I know for myself, I am the biggest critic of myself. So you don't necessarily have to roast me in the comment section. I am aware of some of my my shortcomings, I would say, but knowing that we're not perfect, knowing that we are okay to have bad days, knowing that it is okay to not be okay, but just realize that there is a tomorrow, there is a next day. And as long as you realize that and you are taking steps to improve yourself, then there is nothing wrong with being imperfect or necessarily having not the best day. So that is my positive message for today's video. And speaking of positive, $36.98. I am just excited, y'all. Look at this. Philodendron Parao Verde on a moss pole or totem pole. Look at that beautiful, beautiful variegation. Y'all, this is Live Trends Design. And like I said, in the Target Big Box or Plant Shopping video, we saw a Monstera Thai constellation on a moss pole or totem pole. Now we're seeing Live Trends Design with a Parao Verde. And if you see how highly variegated this is, what's interesting about this particular philodendron is the variegation is influenced by the amount of heat it receives. So higher heat environments will push out that variegation versus giving it a lot of light. So that's quite interesting. And then you can see right here, this is not necessarily the trending Anthurium, but it's still close to my heart. This blooming Anthurium by Costa Farms right here, even the red variety, a lot of people will overlook it, but it is a beautiful plant. So if you want to add a touch of color, you can do that. But let's just look at how beautiful these Philodendron Parao Verde are on these totem poles and moss poles by Live Trends Design. Again, it is for $36.98. Plant Foldy, should I buy this neon pothos plant for $16.98? It's a beautiful Live Trends design ceramic planter, but look at how super full it is and just how neon it is. This is my favorite pothos plant to grow because of how bright it is. You know, bright colors like yellow, neon green, orange, those are colors of joy, and I just love to spread joy and bring joy to myself and to others. So I don't know, let me know in the comment section, Plant Foldies, if I should buy it. And you can see we've got several different types of pothos plants. This one is a pearls and jade pothos, again in a beautiful pink planter, or it's not pink, gray planter by Live Trends Design. This one is another easy care plant for $16.98. The third Aglaonema that I would recommend a plant foldy to buy is an Aglaonema Golden Bay, $24.98 by Live Trends Design. And you see how they've mixed the media from a woven basket with metal on it for the planter. What a nice concept by Live Trends Design. Kudos to Live Trends Design. You already know that I love Live Trends Design. I also love white stem Aglaonema or any type of Aglaonema. And this is an example of another Aglaonema that I have multiples of. I actually have 3 large Aglaonema Golden Bay, but I wouldn't mind acquiring another dozen. That's just really how I feel about Aglaonema, and you already know that that is not always the healthy route to go about it, but they're just so pretty. So pretty. So plant foldies, I don't know. Do you guys like Aglaonema as much as I do, or are y'all just humoring me because that's all I can talk about is Aglaonema? I can also talk about this Hoya Camingiana. This one, like I said in all of my videos, is another Hoya that is endemic to my home country, which is the Philippines. Now, this is a plant that I'm so happy I ended up acquiring. It was an urban jungle terracotta planter at Target, same size for only $15. So this one is for $24.98. This is a Philodendron black cardinal, but that goes to show if you are comparing and contrasting prices amongst big box stores, sometimes you will save money. And some people will say that Target is typically more expensive than big box stores. That is a myth, because if you have the Target app and you're part of the Target Circle rewards program on the app, you will save some more money. So for me, that is another tip that I would say is make make sure that if you're going big box store plant shopping, or even just utilize my plant shopping videos, compare and contrast the plant pricing. You would be surprised that even shopping at a local nursery or small business, you might end up buying plants for even cheaper than the big box store. People will assume that big box stores are typically inexpensive. I would say you would find a higher chance of more budget-friendly plants, but that does not necessarily mean that one big box store could even have a lower plant price. So, you know, for me, you know, you could assume that, say, Walmart has cheaper plant pricing, but that might not necessarily be the case. It depends on the plant. It really does, because when it comes to, for instance, the larger Aglaonema Silver Bay, I would say Home Depot has the most cost-effective plant pricing for that. But as you can see here, Plantfoldi's Live Trends design, the plant aesthetic, the styling, the modern contemporary look is unmatched. I would say Live Trends design is just one of the aesthetics I really appreciate. I mean, you can see these are propagation stations. This is a Dracaena Janet Craig compacta, and that is another plant that is overlooked but very easy to care for. And we're just going to keep picking up more plants of Live Trends design in urban jungle. Notice between urban jungle plants and Live Trends design, there is a different aesthetic. Like urban jungle plants has more of like a boho hipster type feel versus the modern contemporary look of Live Trends design. Either way, this is the reason why, as I pan away and show you all of these different types of planters and plants, big box store plant shopping is super fun, and I love shopping at Lowe's. If you haven't already, make sure you are downloading that Lowe's app. You will save money. You will get your My Lowe's rewards points, digital coupons, and be able to buy even more plants. So I'm going to walk around here and continue to show you the plants. You can see they've got some planters here. I haven't really delved into a lot of the planters as of late, so maybe this week I will go big box or plant shopping and get that on film. You can see that we have more Costa Farms exotic angel plants, and you know, for me, I hope Costa Farms will release some new Costa Farms exotic angel plants. I know that we'll see the typical ones that I always feature in my big box stores, but that doesn't mean that I'm tired of looking at them. I mean, like even this Palea Pan Am for $5.98. I love it. I just don't want to grow it in my plant collection because it just requires a little bit more watering that I don't necessarily have the time to do so. So for me, at least, I haven't added any plant burnout, and a lot of the plant burnout cure for me was taking all of my plants that I've been growing indoors and literally just putting them in my outdoor patio, seeing how fast they grow, seeing how easy it is to care for them, because I can take a hose, I have an automatic sprinkler, and they get watered twice a day. I am also able to prevent plant pests because there are natural predators that get rid of spider mites, that get rid of mealybugs. So that's one way to kind of help cure plant burnout. Just take all your plants outside and simplify your plant care. Here is a Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue in a hanging basket. I would totally buy that, but I already have several of those. But you know, that's another one of those plants that I have an emotional attachment to because it is endemic to the Philippines. Here is a Hedera Helix. This one is my favorite. Hedera Helix, or English Ivy. That one is a gold baby coin English Ivy. And then we also have the Devil's Ivy, or sometimes that's what in Epipremnum aureum or a Pothos plant plant is called. This is the golden pothos, and it is definitely golden in somebody's plant collection because it is so easy to care for. Black rabbit's foot fern for $5.98, or actually $8.98. Another plant that I like the look of. I wouldn't necessarily add it to my plant collection, but you know, whenever you're creating big box store plant shopping videos, you can just go plant shopping window plant shopping is what I mean. And then this is another Hydra helix, beautiful gold baby coin. We've got a purple waffle plant right over here for $8.98. So let's just keep walking around, plant foldies, and let me know in the comment section what you think of the plants today. Also, if you made it this far into the video and you already know plant foldies, I'm going to be repeating myself, but please press the thumbs up or like button for this video. It definitely helps push this content out to more plant lovers like yourself. It definitely helps the plant channel grow. And if you are considering joining my YouTube membership tier, just press the join button if you're watching this on a computer, or you can find the link pinned in the comment section below. It is only for $2.99, but it does help with the sustainability of this YouTube channel. If anything, it helps fund some of the materials I use for this channel, mostly my gas money that I spend whenever I'm driving all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or even my travel expenses. So I'm going to have to go work double time, maybe even do 2 big box or plant shopping videos at this point, because the Plantcon plane tickets to go to New York definitely drained my funds, but that is okay because it is worth seeing all of these gorgeous plants, and it is worth creating these this plant content for you. So let's continue to pick up these plants. You can see we've got some croton plants here by Costa Farms. Plant folies, as you can see right here throughout the video, we've got some beautiful plants by Costa Farms, Life Trends Design, Urban Jungle, lots of different sizes of plants, many to choose from. And I hope that this week I'm able to go to other Lowe's locations, maybe ones I've never been to feature the plants, because I want to see if there's some more restocks. I also want to delve into featuring some local small businesses like Peter's Planters and maybe the Plant Keeper. So I will try to make a trip for that. I know this weekend I will be visiting my grandmother because she will be vending at a local farmer's market. And so I'm going to help her out. I'm hoping to get some footage, maybe even do an episode where we just talk about her life and her life with plants. Let me know in the comment section if you would be interested in seeing my grandmother. But otherwise, as I wrap up this video, just know, plant foldies, that I enjoy the company you provide for me. I enjoy showing you plants. I enjoy just making videos that can show you beautiful foliage, and I hope that you guys appreciate that effort. I know that in terms of what I get from the community, I just get a lot of encouragement. I get a lot of kindness, and that's really what we need this day and age. And we just need plants, right? We need plants to bring us much joy. This definitely brings me joy to see these different large foliage plants by Costa Farms. And I'm just going to spin around here and stay till the very end to see if I end up buying a plant. And plant foldies, I did end up getting that Neon Queen Pothos. It is an absolute stunner, $19.98. I didn't want to live with regret by not picking up this plant, so this one is definitely going home with me. I ended up filming this actually on Sunday on Plant Foldy Angeline's birthday, so I kind of give this as a birthday gift to myself and her. Please join my YouTube membership tier, Plant Foldies. If you haven't already, just join that button, and let's see the updates I'm going to have for this particular Neon Queen Pothos. I do plan to propagate from it. As always, my name is Richie at Grow Folds. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel with all the notification bell on, and if you see the videos popping up on your screen, go ahead and click on it. Let's go ahead and watch more of my YouTube videos, more brand new plant shopping videos throughout the week. Today is an exciting day, and so is this week. Bye.